M0FXB. M0FXB, welcome to my channel. So here we are. We've got the ICOM 705 at the top there on a G5RV picking up HubNet from my All-Star node. And underneath we've got my ICOM 7300 on a long wire called an LX DX20. So I thought we'll do a bit of live, why not? And we'll listen to HubNet for a while, maybe have a contact, and then we'll go down to HF on the 7300. So the 705 has got its power supply, so it's full 10 watts, and the 7300, which is a 100 watt radio with a built-in tuner. So let's have a listen for a while, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, my ex-mother-in-law years ago, when she was alive, she used to work there, and I split up from my missus, and I had my own business, minibuses and taxis and that, and I got this job to pick up some people from Asda and take her, I think it was out of Birmingham way somewhere, and who walked out was my ex-mother-in-law and got in the minibus. Actually, we got on reasonably well, but yeah, it was quite funny, that was. But so I think I told you before, I come from down that way originally, and know all that area very well. And it used to be, I think it's changed a lot now. They've rebuilt it, new owners and everything. But Goodies Fish and Chip Shop, when it was the original family that owned it, the fish and chips you got there were beautiful. But last time I went in there, it was nowhere near as good. But that was from a few years ago. Back to you.
M6 Golf Alpha Golf returning. Yeah, the name's Tony, Bob. Tango Oscar November Yankee. I was trying to think of your call sign. I've got it wrote down here. I'm too lazy to open the book up to remember it. ONO, was it? Or the M6 OVO? Or, I'll tell you what, I won't puzzle my head. He's thinking of that old man in Kent with his sizzling sausage roll and Gaza flash from me mind, singing the fog on the Tyne. I'm afraid it brings nightmares to me sometimes, trying to work it out, Bob. Back to you.
Yeah, Roger, it's Mike 6 November Victor Oscar. But easier way to remember it is Mike 6, not very obvious.
Yeah, that's it. M6, not very obvious. Yeah, I shall place that in my memory banks there, Bob. No problem. Okay, mate, I'm going to go quiet for a minute. I'll let you call out for whoever you want to there. Nice to hear you again, Bob. I thought I just wanted to come on, because I haven't used this for a few days. The cobwebs are starting. I had to get the daughter to dust the box off. It was getting quite bad, so good to hear you again. And also, I'll call him G0 OMK today. I made the mistake a while ago, and he's never forgiven me. I called him G7, and he didn't like that one, so I'm joking. But anyway, nice to hear you there. You all have a good day. I'm going to chill for a minute, and I think my daughter's due back from walking the dog, and then I'll have a nice cup of tea. So take care of yourselves and speak soon. This is Mike 6, Golf Alpha Golf, Tony in the New Forest, Hampshire, Hythe, whatever you want to call us. I'll stand by for a while and have a little listen, and then I'll go clear. Cheers, Bob.
Yeah, Roger. I'll say 7 days as well, because I've got several things to do. But Dudley now, and originally come from North Battersea, Southampton, Gosport, all around that area. Moved around a bit, but anyway, I'll say something's raised for now, and I'll catch you again later. I'll leave it open for anybody else.
Right, might give a call, have a call in. Mike 0 Fox X-Ray Bravo calling for a contact on HubNet.
So Fox X-Ray Bravo, Golf 4 Fox Bravo, Alpha Mobile calling you.
Yeah, M0 FXB returning. Yeah, how you doing? Name's Andreas, Western Supermare.
Andreas, Golf 4 Fox Bravo, Alpha Mobile. I'm Richard here, and I'm on the M62, heading towards Wakefield. I'm meeting up with some friends. A couple of them are radio amateurs as well. And we're going for a bike ride. We usually go at least one long bike ride a week. And today we're going from Wakefield, well, at Horbury, to Huddersfield along the canal and river. So, although it's the canal and river, there still are a few hills because it has to divert away where you can't follow the towpath all the time. And if you've ever been up to Huddersfield, you'll know it's pretty hilly out that way. Beautiful day here, absolutely glorious. Blue sky and sunshine. Not that warm, but it's warm enough, so don't think I'll need my gloves today. Anyway, Andreas, now you've said your name, I realise I've watched some of your YouTube videos. I think I've even actually subscribed to your channel. So very interesting stuff you put out there. Brilliant. Back to you, G4FBA Mobile.
G4FBA. Yeah, hi Richard, good to meet you. And well, you're now in one of the videos because I'm currently live streaming on YouTube. So if your friend puts that in his phone, M0FXB, he'll see me chatting away. I'm sort of demonstrating two radios. The top radio is the ICOM 705 on HubNet with an all-star node made by G7RPG Peter. And the radio that it's sat on is the ICOM 7300 HF, full HF set. And the 7300 is connected to a long wire, 20 meter. And the 705 is on a G5RV. I'm actually talking to you via the G5RV, which is quite interesting. So, yeah, thanks for the shout. And, yeah, it sounds like you guys are having fun. Back to you from sunny Western Supermare, M0FXB. Back to you.
Okay, Andreas, Golf 4 Fox Bravo, Alpha Mobile returning. I'm just about to join the M1, heading south, and then turn off towards Horbury. Okay, my number 705. Yeah, they look really good, don't they? They're a bit expensive. I have a 7300 as well, and it's a fantastic radio. And I played around with the Whisper FT8. 80 meters is one of my favourite bands, on 10 meters. And I've been planning to put up a halo for 6 meters and see what I can work on 6 meters. I did a little bit last year in the summer, and hopefully this year I'm going to try and do a bit more experimenting with it. Then on the micronodes, I've got 2 micronodes. I've got a Homebrew one which runs on 70 centimeters, but not using that though, and I'm using a Raspberry Pi at the moment that is just a radioless Raspberry Pi. So I've got a microphone plugged into it and a speaker into the sound box. And I've also set up a SIP dial so I can dial into it from the car using the Bluetooth and my phone, and that's how I'm getting into HubNet at the moment. And I have another Raspberry Pi which is running a local gateway on 2 meters MB7 IRC. So I did used to have the dial up into that one, but I decided to just leave it alone and as a standalone. And of course I can work it with a handheld radio in the shack or in the garden, which is quite good. And great stuff. I shall look forward to watching the video. The other 2 guys who I'm meeting are, well, there's 6 of us going for a bike ride, as we are allowed. 2 of them are radio amateurs, G4 BLTs, not active now. And then John G4RCD, but he's not off HubNet. He's very keen on CW and HF. Anyway, back to you before I time out, Andres. G4FBA mobile.
Oh, that's all very funny.
G4FBA M0FXB returning. Yeah, that's interesting. I've not heard of these. Is it like a radio-less Pi-Star hotspot? So you'll have to tell me more about that. So yeah, the node's doing a fine job. I use it all the time, and one minute I'm using it with a Bofung, and the next minute I'm using this ICOM. The 7300 I've had for a few years, and it's definitely my go-to radio if I want to transmit on HF. But if I'm just listening, I use the 705, and it's really improved my hobby, because what it's made me do is go out there and look at antennas and think, what can I do? And I bought 2 antennas recently. One is the LW20DX long wire with a 9-to-1 balun, and that's been really good on 20 especially. I've always had a G5RV, and I've got a 40 meter whip that I never had, and it's made me think, right, well, because the 705's only got 10 watts, I need to make a bit more effort and try and get a contact, so it's a different experience altogether, because you know that when the contests are on, that if you fire up the 100 watt 7300 and a G5RV, you're going to have some contact. So you told me some interesting information there, and hi to your friends. And when you say biking, is it like I'm guessing you're cyclists if you're all in one car. And so what's going on there? Back to you from M0FXB.
Yes, okay, Andres. No, we are cyclists, yes, but we're not in one car. We all meet up. We're actually meeting up at Horbury. So I'm driving there. I've got my bike in the back of the car. And then Rick, G4BLT, he cycles there because he lives in Wakefield. And he's got iron legs. He cycles everywhere. And he's the one who leaves us standing in the hills, and he's up at the top. And we're all gasping out and getting to the top, and he's got his breath back and smiling when we catch up to him. So, and then John RCG lives nearby, and he's also cycling in. So we meet up at different houses each week and vary the rides. I live near York in Rickle, and so we have to do rides from where I live, which is great because it's flat. It's very flat. The bike's a mountain bike, and it's a hardtail. And we are going along the river and canal towpath all the way to Huddersfield. But it's about 29 miles for the return. So it's a nice ride on a nice day like this. And the radioless node, well, it's just a Raspberry Pi running All-Star. And then some of the sound pops, I forget exactly which one, but some of them, the up-down volume button on the sound pop, you can make one of them, it's been fixed in. Let me just take a pit before I time out. Hang on a sec. I'm pretty sure somebody's done Peter probably, GT7 RPG's probably done a video about it. But I think it's the down button that works as the PTT. So I've just got a microphone plugged in and on the mic input, and then the PTT is on the down volume button, and then the audio output just goes straight into a small speaker.
Hi G0TUZ, listening on HubNet. Give you a wave.
The dial-up using a voice over IP number to get into it. So it's great from the car, because even though I can use the local gateway when I'm nearby, but it doesn't go that far, and this is only dependent on the phone signal, which often disappear though as well. So that's the setup anyway. And final on the antennas. Yeah, well, it's amazing what you can do with low power. I've played around with Whisper, and the stuff. I've had the first Whisper station I set up a few years ago was using the pulse width modulator on a Raspberry Pi as the output into a low pass filter, and it was about 10 to 15 milliwatts.
Looks like my camera's gone flat. The camera on the radio. M0 FXB returning. Just realised the camera, the battery on the camera I'm using has died, but no worries. So yeah, well, it's amazing sometimes the battery life that you'll get. But I have a spare for the 705, and I've also I've got a few nodes here, micro nodes. I've got the one that I got from Peter. I did make one initially, and that's what made me want to buy Peter's one. And it works okay. It's not as good as Peter's, but it works fine. And in the end, I had all the parts here to make a third one, which I've ended up putting under the seat of my car. And I just plug it into my cigarette lighter adapter. I've got an old Bofang in the car. Like you're doing at the moment, I tether it to my phone and off I go, listening to HubNet. And when I'm waiting in the car for anything, quite often with my kids and family, I listen to HubNet, so I really enjoy it. So I'll stand by. I just need to reconnect a different camera to my setup here. So if anyone wants to see this live, just putting my call sign into YouTube, just take me a couple of minutes to swap cameras. But thanks very much. Good to meet you as well. I'm glad, and thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. And HubNet is so great. I love HubNet, and I can't praise it enough. What a great community it is. So back to you for a final, and I'll just stand by for 5 minutes. M0FXB.
Oh, that's so thrilling.
Okay, Andreas, G4FBA mobile returning, and all interesting stuff, and help you get your battery switched over. That's a bit of a, when you're doing the middle of the live broadcast, when something like that happens, isn't it? It's a bit awkward, but not to worry. And yeah, I shall look forward to having a look at the video when I get home. Probably won't be back home till about 4 or 5 o'clock. We usually stop and have lunch somewhere. I've got sandwiches with me in the car, so it'll be a sandwich lunch stop, probably just as you get to Huddersfield. It's a bit busy, but on the way back along the canal, there's some nice spots where you can sit by some of the locks and have your sandwiches, so we'll probably do that, I think. Okay, fine on the Raspberry Pi under the car seat. Yeah, I thought about doing that as well, but it's so easy to just dial up. The Pi I'm going into is just sat in the shack, and I've got it plugged in. I tend to, if I can, plug everything into the wired rather than rely on Wi-Fi. I know it's good as Wi-Fi and that, but I do prefer having everything wired if I can. So it's plugged in at home, and I just dial into it, and it seems to work quite well. So I'm nearly where I'm going anyway, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we will. Hopefully no punctures or anything like that, and we'll catch you later. And thanks for all the info and stuff you put out on YouTube. It's all very informative. And 73 C4 FBA mobile. Cheers, Andreas.
Yep, cheers, 7-3, and in my pleasure, it's just me enjoying my hobby, and I just happen to have a few cameras recording it. So yeah, I've got I actually use wireless. I use my mobile phones, iPhones and Samsungs wirelessly, and I just have to type in a new IP address, and then I have a camera, which is what I've just done. So thanks very much. I'll stand by. M0FXB 7-3. All the best.
I've played around with iPhones and stuff like that. I've got an old iPhone the camera's still got it. I'm in the middle of building a garden pond, and what I was thinking of is putting the phone on and using it as a webcam, so I can observe the pond and maybe catch any wildlife and stuff like that. So that's another interesting thing. Okay, cheers. See you later. G4 FBA mobile off and clear, and we'll be pedaling away soon.
Yep, cheers, 7-3. On charge.
LXBG0TUZ, if you're there.
Yep, G0, GUZ, receiving you nice and clear. I just got to go back to my page, but I guess that you're watching me on the YouTube now, so hopefully the cameras are all working now. Back to you.
Your cameras are fucking perfect. I think I saw you put something over the top of the radio there. The block flow light coming down on the screens. Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, they seem to all be working absolutely perfect, flawlessly. Absolutely flawlessly. And I'm not going to hold it with you because I'm sure there's other people who'd like to say hello. Great to sit down. I do like to see radio hands going out there progressive with some great content. It's always good to hear all the different views and opinions as well. It really does help make your mind up. I was very recently bought myself the Yaesu 818, which I'm playing around with. It's a quick radio. You'll build out there with people, so I'll leave it clear, and I wish you a very good day from G0GUXZ to M0FXB on the tube of you. See you soon. Thank you very much.
M0FXB returning. Well, thanks very much for calling in, and you got some tiny breakup. Not sure what your setup is. It'd be interesting to know how you're getting into HubNet. But otherwise, yeah, it's great fun. We're just enjoying ourselves. Any excuse to rag chew. You've got an interesting username there with the ninja word. And I didn't get your first name. Could you just tell me that as well? And then I'll stand by. M0FXB.
From G0GZ. I do apologise. Yeah, I'm coming into the HubNet via, I have an Aliens H1 handheld, which goes into a Raspberry Pi hotspot. Genius! The Raspberry Pi people, absolute genius. But yeah, I'm getting in that way. That's how I'm doing it. I hope I'm getting through it fine. Name descended Marty, Mike Alpha Romeo, Tango Yankee. And yeah, the broadcast people, I got the name, I put a load of words on a load of post-it notes and picked out two. and that was where it comes from. I'm in the middle of building a radio studio at the moment. If you go to my channel, you will sort of see where I am, although I haven't updated it in a long time. It's moved on since then. I should update it. Anyway, listen, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. And thanks, Marty. Absolute pleasure. I've subscribed and clicked the thumbs up. And anybody who's monitoring, who's watching the YouTube channel at the moment of N0XP, don't forget to click that thumbs up button. That really does help. It does help. I promise you. It's like patting him on the back. Just imagine you're patting him on the back, shaking his hand, or putting a fist or whatever it is today. Right, that's it. I'm gone. Cheers. All the best for now.
M7HI, I think it was J. Yeah, working fine. I'm trying to leave a decent gap for everyone. So yeah, cheers, Marty. Thanks for that, and you know, much appreciated. I just enjoy myself, so I go off and make myself another cup of tea. Now, you said Alliance, so I'm guessing you're coming in via DMR. My friend Lionel, who's monitoring now, has just got one of them, and he's been asking for a code plug. So if it is the same radio, please email it to me, m0fxb@hotmail.com, and I'll forward it to him. So thanks, Marty. You take care, and I'll just stand by now, let other people jump in, because I know there's a lot of connections that need to be made and disconnections and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, loving the use of HubNet, of course. M0FXB, back to standby.
Foxtrot X-Ray Bravo. This is Mike 7 Hotel India Juliet. QTH is Wolverhampton. I just wanted to talk on the upnet about the importance of when charging handhelds there, QSR.
M7HIJ. Good to meet you, Andrew. So yeah, go ahead. I'll stand by. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to make myself a nice fresh cup of tea. So go ahead. Back to you.
HIJ, personal this way, Stephen, Wolverhampton. I just wanted to talk to you about anybody out there who's got any handhelds. The problem with handhelds is when we get them, we can't wait to charge them. We bang them in, we charge them. As soon as we've seen the green light that's on there, that's great, we can't wait. We pull the plug out straight away on the side of the charger port, and we connect the microphone, we connect the antenna, DLG239 on, and away we go. But what happens is there's a protocol of how you've got to do it. You need to have an extension lead which disconnects the mains to it, not live direct. You must put the lead into the appliance first, and then once it's all connected up, then supply the mains to the handheld. Back in the day when you used to turn the old-fashioned televisions off, do you remember when you turned the TV off, there was a white light still there? It's because there's still a surge of power. And when you've got a direct line feed to your charger, when you pull the feed out, there's still a surge of power there. And when you pull your jack out, it touches something inside, which causes a surge of power, and it could cause a little fuse in mine. And just do a slight break, stand by. M7HIJ returning. It causes a small surge of power, enough to trip small fuses, which is inside your little amp radio handheld. Then you start finding that you're having problems trying to charge your handheld. So the protocol is, prior to when your handheld is fully charged, prior to disconnecting the jack plug, pulling it out, the protocol is to turn the mains off, wait for 4 to 5 seconds at least for the power to discharge. Once it's discharged, then remove the jack plug, and vice versa. Always try and get an extension lead where the isolation can be turned off and on. So you disconnect the power to the jack plug, wait 4 to 5 seconds, and then disconnect the jack plug, due to the fact that you've still got power there. Just information which I've gathered and learnt, and it's very, very valuable to take back to anybody who's listening. This is Mike 7, Hotel India Juliet, returning to anybody who wants to listen on that subject. Did anyone receive that information? If you would like to comment on it, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, thanks very much, Andrew. I was off making a cup of tea, but any advice is appreciated. So I'll just sit here and listen. M0FXB.
Roger on that. It's Steve this way, Steve. Sorry for correction, Steve, M7HIJ. Yeah, it's just a protocol that nobody, I suspect, does. And this is why we're having so many problems with people who've got handhelds and they can't charge them because there's a small surge in the frequency still. And when you pull your jack plug out, it connects to something inside on the way out, causing it to slide hard. Very small milliamps, but at least it's causing that problem there. Back to you.
M0FXB. Yeah, I think batteries are a sore subject with many handhelds. I'm trying to think the best one, the best battery that I actually like. The ID51 was never that great at battery life. Okay, I suppose. The Kenwood D74, very poor because it's so packed with functions and color screens and all the rest of it. It only lasts about 3 hours, 4 hours, you know. The Yaesu FT3D, now that's quite good on the battery, so I'll give that one 8 out of 10. The FT70 is terrible, and if you leave it in the charger, it goes flat, you know, if the charger is unplugged. So a fully charged battery, leave the DC connector off the cradle, and later on you'll have a flat Yaesu FT70. The battery that goes in the ICOM 705, I think it's okay because you think about the size of the screen and what that radio does, but you only get about 4 hours out of it. So yeah, I could go on and on. I think the Bofeng batteries are really good, and the Anytone 878 battery is like a car battery. It's that good. Back to you, and sorry about the name there. Back to Stephen.
I also do find that the Baofeng battery has got more life than most of the batteries that I've come across at the moment. Life expectancy, anyway, it's working. You could talk for about 4 or 5 hours or so, no problems, and then come back to it. You've still got a good 2.5 to 3 hours more life left in it. What it does state as well, one other important factor about the Baofeng is, if anyone's listening, that it states if you've got a fully charged battery on a Baofeng and you start talking, say, for about an hour on the frequency, it states do not put a fully charged battery back onto the charger and start charging it. This will burn the life out of your battery. You must run your battery down until it's flat, and then following the protocol of how you connect and disconnect a radio back to your charger. There is a protocol of how to do it. If you don't do that protocol, then that's when you start having complications of things tripping out on fuses on your radio, and then before you know it, you can't charge your battery. I will be going out and either getting a circuit breaker or I will get an extension lead which I can actually switch the switch off to disconnect the power, wait for it to drop in power to the surge before I disconnect any charger, and then vice versa. It's a good practice to get into, because I don't think most of us do. We get excited when we've got a new product, a new toy, and you just can't wait to get it going, and we just pull the leads out without thinking. Just a bit of advice, that's all. If anybody's listening, this is Mike 7 Hotel India Juliet, Wolverhampton, return.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. So yeah, all good advice, and I agree. Let them go flat before you charge. The D74 is the Kenwood D74 is well known of having problems with the battery. If you leave the radio turned on whilst, let's get it right, if you leave it turned on while it's in the cradle, charging, and especially if you transmit, it can actually blow some circuitry inside the radio. And I know, some battery, well, I don't know, I'm guessing some batteries have circuitry in them as well. And so how does that all get affected? And so I'm not an expert by any means at all. So okay, I'm going to stand by. Thanks for the chat, Stephen. As I said, I got you on QRZ looking at your THF7E, which I remember in its day was a very good radio. I think the 74 that I use is like its older. Let's get it right. Yeah, it's younger brother or new. It's the new version, I think. So 7-3, back to you for a final, and I'll stand by. M0FXP.
Thank you very much for listening, M0FXB. I didn't get the personal, sorry. I've heard you call M0FXB because I've only just came onto the frequency. I haven't got my phone at hand to look at the QRZ page. Just come back with your personal again there, Mike 7 Hotel India Juliet.
Yeah, Roger, my name's Andreas, and I'm in Weston-super-Mare, and we've been live streaming for about half an hour, so all your advice has gone on to YouTube, onto a YouTube channel, and so others can listen to that as well, and you can play it back later just by adding my call sign into YouTube. So it's Andreas, back to you.
That's excellent news, that is, and at least it's going to be heard more than once. I know people take the advice, and it's going to be a fantastic learning curve to use the protocol for how you connect and disconnect a battery that's charging, and always make sure that if you've got a fully charged battery, make sure you run it down flat before you get back in the cradle for charging again. By the way, if anybody's listening also, this is a Baofeng that we're coming back to you on, and the microphone that we are using is the actual earpiece. So when you plug your earpiece in and you kick the little keypad that comes with it, that's what we're talking to through. So if it comes through pretty clear, then we're not using a microphone, we're using the earpiece. So that's another good thing, rather than buying an extended mic. Okay, all good. M0 Foxtrot X-Ray Bravo. Andre, thank you so much for allowing me to come in, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Mike 7 Hotel India Juliet, now going QRT.
Yeah, cheers, Stephen. And that's a good tip, because I've got 3 or 4 of them lying around with the little little push button on the microphone. So I will definitely try that out later. 7-3, all the best. Oh, the station that just if someone just tried to speak then, it was very scratchy and inaudible. So M0FXB, back to standby. Right, I'm going to stand by now. Lots of people there chatting away on HubNet. I've had a look on the 7300 here, and there's not really a lot going on. 40 for me is flat. A couple here on 20. Let's have a listen. I'll turn down HubNet. See if we can pick something up on 20 before I end the stream. So yeah, it's there's a couple there. They're not speaking for long. So okay, well I think I'll end the stream. I've got loads to do here, but thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and like, and catch you all later. 7-3, all the best.